Let's continue to read the book by Sam Harris, Waking Up, A Guide to Spirituality Without Religion. I'm reading on the left side at the bottom. As I wrote in my first book, The End of Faith, the disparity between Eastern and Western spirituality resembles that found between Eastern and Western medicine, with the arrow of embarrassment pointing in the opposite direction. Humanity did not understand the biology of cancer, develop antibiotics and vaccines, or sequence the human genome under an Eastern sun. Consequently, real medicine is almost entirely a product of Western science, insofar as specific techniques of Eastern medicine actually work. They must conform, whether by design or by happenstance, to the principles of biology as we have come to know them in the West. This is not to say that Western medicine is complete. In a few decades, many of our current practices will seem barbaric. One need only ponder the list of side effects that accompany most medications to appreciate that these are terribly blunt instruments. Nevertheless, most of our knowledge about the human body and about the physical universe generally emerged in the West. The rest is instinct, folklore, bewilderment, and ultimately death. An honest comparison of spiritual traditions, Eastern and Western, proves equally invidious. As manuals for contemplative understanding, the Bible and the Quran are worse than useless. Whatever wisdom can be found in their pages is never best found there, and it is subverted time and again by ancient savagery and superstition. Again, one must deploy the necessary caveats. I'm not saying that most Buddhists or Hindus have been sophisticated contemplatives. Their traditions have spawned many of the same pathologies we see elsewhere among the faithful: dogmatism, anti-intellectualism, tribalism, otherworldliness. However, the empirical difference between the central teachings of Buddhism and Advaita and those of the Western monotheism is difficult to overstate. One can traverse the Eastern path simply by becoming interested in the nature of one's own mind, especially in the immediate causes of psychological suffering, and by paying closer attention to one's experience in every present moment. There is, in truth, nothing one need believe. The teachings of Buddhism and Advaita are best viewed as lab manuals and explorers' logs detailing the results of empirical research on the nature of human consciousness. Nearly every geographical and linguistic barrier to the free exchange of ideas has now fallen away. It seems to me, therefore, that educated people no longer have a right to any form of spiritual provincialism. The truth of Eastern spirituality are now no more Eastern than the truth of Western science are Western. We are merely talking about human consciousness and its possible states. My purpose in writing this book is to encourage you to investigate certain contemplative insights for yourself, without accepting the metaphysical ideas that they inspired in ignorant and isolated peoples of the past. A final word of caution. Nothing I say here is intended as a denial of the fact that psychological well-being requires a healthy sense of self with all the capacities that this vague phrase implies. Children need to become autonomous, confident, and self-aware in order to form healthy relationships, and they must acquire a host of other cognitive, emotional, and interpersonal skills in the process of becoming sane and productive adults, which is to say that there is a time and a place for everything. Useless, of course, there isn't. No doubt there are psychological conditions, such as schizophrenia, for which practices of the sort I recommend in this book might be inappropriate. Some people find the experience of extended silent retreat psychologically destabilizing. Again, an analogy to physical training seems apropos. Not everyone is suited to running a 6-minute mile or bench pressing his own body weight, but many quite ordinary people are capable of these feats, and there are better and worse ways to accomplish them. What is more, the same principles of fitness generally apply even to people whose abilities are limited by illness or injury. So I want to make it clear that the instructions in this book are intended for readers who are adults, more or less, and free from any psychological or medical conditions that could be exacerbated by meditation or other techniques of sustained introspection. If you're paying attention to your breath, to bodily sensations, to the flow of thoughts, or to the nature of consciousness itself seems likely to cause you clinically significant anguish, please check with a psychologist or psychiatrist before engaging in the practice I describe. Okay, let's stop here for this episode. Thank you for listening. If you like, please subscribe and forward to your friends. Thanks. Bye.